Cyndi, editor at bloomerboomer.com, and you're watching Boomer TV with the internationally renowned Cyndi Dale, author, speaker, healer, and the author of 27 books about energy, medicine, intuition, and spirituality. Now, you can be part of this amazing journey on the bloomerboomer.com platform that will launch you toward the most fulfilling life you want after 55. Today, Cyndi talks about problem solving energetically. Chakras are energy organs that can be used for just about any purpose. Learn about your third chakra, located in the solar plexus, and how to access and use it to solve just about any problem you might have. You can follow us as we live stream on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and of course on Bloomer Boomer. And now, here's Cyndi Dale.
Hi, everybody. How are you? The purpose of our time together is to get energized and to even to problem solve. I know a lot of us don't even like dealing with problems, but all those do is, I don't know if any of you saw the old Star Trek episode. Probably if we're of a certain age, we did, where there were tribbles. You get one tribble, like a little fluffy doll thing, and pretty soon you have 2, and then you have 4, and then you have 16. Well, that's how problems work. And if we don't deal with what's happening and what we need to make decisions about, not only do they multiply, but they stress us out. In fact, up to 2020, 45% of all Americans were constantly worrying. That's compared to about 35% of people on the global level. These days, about 60% of all Americans are constantly worrying. And we worry when we're dealing with issues that we don't know how to tackle, or we just put off the tackling of. So we're going to talk about how to get into your issues, get into your problems, use a chakra. I'll explain what a chakra is in a little while to solve your problem so you have more energy. I'm an energy expert, and for almost 30 years, I've been giving tips about energy because I was one of those kids who could see energy, see colors, hear voices that weren't there. And I found out that all of that world of the unknown and the invisible constitutes about 99.99% of all of reality. So most of our issues would appear in the world. What we're really dealing with is what we call invisible energy or subtle energy. It's the stuff that's not measurable, but the stuff that's not so measurable are your feelings and your thoughts and the programming you carry in from childhood and those sort of psychic messages you're picking up from other people. And I love talking to people about how to really understand how to diagnose, how to interpret, and how to direct that subtle or psychic energy. Because when you do that, then you can make a difference in your life. Then you send a different message into the world and people respond to you. You become healthier, you become happier, and your problems start to dissipate. So let's talk about problem solving. Then I'm going to introduce you to the chakra, which is an energy organ that deals with the invisible information that is in charge of making decisions, creating choices, and figuring out what's really going to work or not work. Like I've already really implied, we seemingly all around the world actually have more problems now than we did about a year ago, or at least we're believing that we have more problems. When you put off dealing with problems or making decisions or taking actions, that's when you develop healthcare crises. 97% of all doctors' visits are because of stress. And stress can come from a positive stimulus, such as, oh my gosh, I just won the lottery. Don't we all wish that, right? But what am I going to do? I've never been rich before, or whatever it is. But most of the time, what we struggle with is that minutia of the day, or what we can't control. What are we going to do if our car breaks down? What do we do if our car breaks down? What are we going to do about making this decision or dealing with this person who has partisan politics that are different than ours, or especially when we're overwhelmed? I get overwhelmed fairly easily. In fact, because I'm really ADHD, so I can have 2 socks in front of me and I can't figure out which one I'm going to put on first. So I think we all need to develop problem solving strategies, and it's easiest to use a chakra to do that. Um, a little bit about what goes into solving problems, not just subtly, but from a mental point of view, can help us when we're ready to actually work with our invisible self and make decisions from a more meditative and grounded and spirit centered place. The best problem solving occurs when we know what the problem is. So you're not going to solve an issue, a challenge. You're not going to figure out if you should go on a walk today or not, or do your grocery shopping or not, or ask that person out or not, or keep on working part-time or go back to full-time or whatever it might be, unless you frame the problem appropriately. What is the issue? For instance, if you have a car that falls apart every 2 weeks and you're trying to decide what kind of tires to put on it, instead of trying to figure out if you should buy a new car or not, you're constantly going to be stressed. When we approach a challenge, an issue, something that we need to make a decision about, because that's the nature of a problem, we also want to use positive beliefs like, I can get to the other side of this, and positive feelings. How about, I'm excited to tackle this. I'm excited to be creative through this process. When we're more negative about a question mark, about a query, all of our health starts to slide. The more you sit there and go, I'm never going to figure this out, or I'm just going to be unhappy no matter what I decide, or I'm really scared to even frame this up, not only do you go through cardiovascular sort of frits and frats, like that's when your heart starts to get arrhythmic, maybe your blood pressure goes up, maybe you start to sweat, but your immune system goes down, and it's actually harder to think. About 30 to 70% of an outcome when you're problem solving actually has to do with how positive you're believing or thinking about it and feeling about the eventual response on the other end, that you can get there and your life is going to improve in that life area. So you obviously want to be solution based. That's what problem solving even means. And sometimes you need to kind of not just sit down and do all your thinking, even chakra or subtle energy meditative work all at once. Sometimes you want to sleep on it. Einstein did. That's when he was most brilliant. In fact, there's one study that says if you sleep on a quandary, when you get up, or the people in a study who slept on a quandary, when they woke up, they were 2 times more likely to have an answer than those people who just like fretted half the night, and just, kind of tried to, kind of figure out in their head. It can also be helpful to collaborate. We know this. I'm being a little sexist, but sometimes women are more apt to just tell the world their issue, or call their best friend, or talk to their spouse, even if he or she is not listening, and arrive at their own answer. So talk, ask, get insight, but know that eventually you're going to have to bring it down to yourself. So we're going to work on a problem together. I'm going to introduce you to your third chakra. I'm going to tell you where it is, what color it is, why that's important, what happens inside of this particular chakra. And I'm going to walk you through steps that will help you solve a problem that you've been worrying about. I guarantee if you come up with an idea of either what to do or not do, sometimes you can't make a difference and you just want to say, okay, I'm just going to let it sit. You will instantly feel better when we're done with our interaction. As I've said, a chakra is an energy organ or an energy body. It works like a physical organ, except it can change physical, hard knock, real, touch it, energy or information into subtle or invisible, or intangible, and vice versa. So when we're working with a chakra, you can conceivably think of something you want to create and boom, help it appear in your reality. You could think of something you want to disappear, like arthritis. And if you work with the right types of programs or issues or beliefs, etc., you could potentially disappear the arthritis. We work with the third chakra, which is yellow, and in the solar plexus, the front and backside of your solar plexus, to problem solve. That's because this yellow energy center is in charge of ideas. So it's through this energy center you bring in the intuitive information from the world. You pick up on what's motivating somebody else. You get data about maybe even subjects you know nothing about. You might just have an idea pop in your mind like, I think Apollo 13, this happened because of this. And you go, how would I know that? Well, that's because of your third chakra. It brings in data that form thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. Actually, through the backside, you're bringing in higher ideas like truths. So the front side's constantly gathering psychic or intuitive information from the world or people that you're near, or even the animal that you care about, or the woods that you're walking in. And the backside we use to bring through information, energy, and spiritual qualities that can lift us to a higher place of knowing what's accurate, what's true, of feeling like a sustainable feeling, and bringing through the energies we need to take action if it is deemed necessary when we're making a decision. So we're going to work in this energy center. I'm going to walk you through the steps of problem solving. So you actually make a decision and you ignite your ability to carry through on any action, or let yourself feel good about any inaction that seems to, kind of rise to the top. All right, take a couple deep breaths. And let yourself just center or bring yourself into the very middle of your solar plexus. As you breathe into that space, kind of on the other side of your diaphragm, in the middle of your spine, in between the front and the back side of your solar plexus, you're going to sense that you're in sort of a haven or a home of light. This light represents truths like clarity, intelligence, and the ability to problem solve, to get to the bottom meaning of an issue or a question, to interpret what would be best for you, and to open to the energy needed to facilitate change. So in this place of lightness and brightness, just sort of release any concerns you have about the day, what you've been doing, about what's coming up for you in the evening, and let yourself simply focus on one concern, one puzzle, one question mark, one query. And in the focusing on it, let yourself ask your own inner wise self, or that which you would call your higher power, what's the real issue? What's the true problem that needs to be solved? And stay in that place until you have a real sense of it. Maybe even a couple words that you can punctuate the dilemma with in your mind. I need to make a decision about X, or I would benefit from making a decision about Y. And then give permission for your own inner guru and or your higher power or the divine by whatever name to help you feel excited about coming up with choices and a final decision. And with that excitement, sense the positivity, the I can do it, cheerleading nature of your inner wisdom. You've got this. You can figure this out. You can be instrumental in solving this problem and making a difference in your own life. And then focusing again on the question mark, ask to perceive 3 choices. You don't want just a yes or a no or a black or a white. There are already and always 3 activities or choices that could be followed to a happy ending. What comes to you as the first possibility? What's the second one? And what's the third? Now, if you don't have a third, you can go back into this exercise later. That third may come in if you collaborate with somebody or you sleep on the issue. Do not make a decision until you know you have at least 3 valid choices. And if you're ready, just revisit those 3 choices and get a sense if your energy rises, which means a yes, or lowers at the thought of a choice, which means a no. Something in the middle is a maybe. Choice 1, up, down, or maybe. Choice 2, up, down, or maybe. Choice 3, if you have one, up, down, or maybe. Again, you can table the choice-making process and return to it even tomorrow or in a couple days. But if there is clarity, own it. Decide in yourself, this is what I'm going to do. This is my decision. This is my hurrah and my eureka. And owning that, give permission for, again, your own spiritual self, your own essence, or your greater power to bring through you, through your back of the solar plexus, all the way through your stomach, out in front of you, whatever energy you need to create a path for action or to be comfortable with non-action. Breathe back into yourself. Own the process. Own your ability to problem solve energetically and feel how energized you feel. Breathe again. Be in your normal everyday self and know anytime you can condense this exercise, go through it even quicker, and make the decisions that need to be made. Thank you, Andy, for letting me teach people that quick skill.
That is very, very helpful. And as it turns out, there are a few questions that people have. I think a little bit about what you were talking about that came through in the last week. Do you want me to?
Please. I'd love to hear them.
Okay. Stephanie is asking if you can explain a little bit about activating the chakras.
Yes, when you activate the chakras, what you're doing is letting them work at a higher intensity for you. They're actually already there and awake, just like your organs are. But you know how, like, sometimes your liver gets sluggish or your heart gets slow or whatever? We want to quicken them so they work better for us. I do that by just, again, asking my inner self, my inner wisdom, or higher power to just simply go through my chakras and turn them up like a dimmer switch, just turning them up a little stronger. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be clearer in every single one of these chakra bailiwicks of concerns.
There's another one from Tim. This is, or he is asking if there are any exercises or steps for releasing negative energies.
Yes, you know what I would do? I would use something just like what I did. Every single chakra has a front side, which is how we greet the world, and a back side, which is along our spine. And that will bring positive energies in to push out negative. So, what I do is I decide I need releasing or healing or clarity or faith or truth or hope or one of these spiritual qualities. And I envision the breeze of that quality coming in through the backside of my chakras, pushing out all negativity through the front side, letting the negativity dissipate, and voila, you're going to feel a lot better.
Here, this is from Debbie, and she's asking to learn more, or she's asking to learn more about locating hidden inner wounds.
Oh, we have those, don't we? And during a time like this year, they get triggered too. What I do is I always go into kind of a meditative state and I ask my body to show me where I'm holding an old trauma or a stress. And then I pay attention to my body. If my heart starts beating quickly or goes into pain, or I feel a twinge in my hip that's uncomfortable, I know that's the body place of that wound. And then I bring my mind and my intuition to it. And I start to very gently allow images or senses or pictures to come up so I can help heal myself.
Learned a lot because I have always said as my kids in particularly, when they asked me something, I said, well, I'll have to sleep on it. So I guess I understand where that comes from a little better.
Well, Einstein did it and he was brilliant. So I think we all have a good model there, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, next week, what are we going to be talking about?
Put on your eyeglasses, your invisible ones. We're going to be working with clairvoyance, getting psychic pictures. It's going to be great fun.
And people can, I know they can come to bloomerboomer.com and look under your webpage that we have here. I think it's bloomerboomer.com /Cyndi, but I'll have to double check it. But it's easy to find. And any other places anything else you want to let viewers know today?
No, you can always check out my website, cindydale.com, and, just kind of keep yourself bright because the world needs you that way right now.
Well, that's a good way to say goodbye, and it was great seeing you again, and you have a good rest of the week, Cyndi.
Everybody else, too. Thanks.
All
Bye,
right.
Andy.
Bye-bye. Cyndi Dale, internationally renowned author, speaker, healer, and business consultant, and author of 27 books about energy, medicine, intuition, and spirituality. You can find out more on Facebook and YouTube and at Bloomer Boomer. And if you like this, please like us on Facebook.